I would almost never, link from a service page to a blog post. Because that visitor would be going upwards, backwards through the funnel.
Right, like trying to get you to go down the funnel here.
You want to go down the funnel.
What are you doing climbing back up? Why am I catapulting you back up the funnel? Get down that funnel.
Get down there.
Yeah.
The home page might be the only page where I would link out to an article.
All right, Andy Crestodina, co-founder, CMO of Orbit Media Studios. You guys focus on websites. You guys are like the experts, the gurus.
Hope to be.
Welcome to our little program here.
Thanks for being back, Matt. This is great.
Thanks for being here.
Yeah.
As you said, what is this thing? What are we doing? It's not a podcast, you said.
This is beyond a podcast.
Okay.
This is a show, and I am forever impressed.
Okay.
You guys take it to another level. Bravo.
Thank you. Have you seen those day in the life videos? It's kind of like a trend thing that they're on like LinkedIn now, and they were like on TikTok, where it's like a day in the life of like a tech sales bro or whatever. If I was to make one of those of you, what would the script sound like from the beginning to the end?
The theme would be exhaustion.
Okay.
I have little kids. I wake up early. I try to get work done before they wake up. So I'm up, but let's say 5:30, and I work until 7 almost exactly, and then it's breakfast and
classics.
Taking them to school. Yep.
Okay. Yeah. Love
and then I should be at my desk by 9, and it's often just a day of back-to-back meetings, lots of meetings, maybe 6 to 8 meetings. I do one of these a day maybe, or a webinar, or I'm prepping for an event, a conference or something, mixed in with supporting my team, doing a sales call here and there, just like an evening networking event. But I maximize time at home with my kids, and it's been 5:15 I'm home, and it's Minecraft or games or the park, and mine are 6 and 8, so a little ahead of yours.
Oh my gosh,
it's good.
Well, and then you kind of have you do the thing. I think we talked about this. I do this too, where it's like after the kids go down, there's sort of second shift where you can sneak in something, right? Is that like a project? I'm kind of like picking your brain because if I want to take some daily habits, like. Is it like a project that's like a more of a long-term project that you'd work on at that time? Like, is your brain in a different space at that time?
Yeah, well, our go-to-market is basically a content inbound-based organic strategy for lead gen. And so that requires kind of feeding the machine with lots of articles that exceed people's expectations and, short, 10-minute videos and presentations. So to get an article done, and I do one every 2 weeks, it's about a 10-hour project. I think of it as a project with lots of visuals. Sometimes it's a video. It's like live writing, collaboration with influencers.
This is intense stuff, yeah.
They're big.
In depth.
They're pretty big, yeah. Those are like very detailed articles. There's a big enough audience that it's stressful to not have something good.
Yeah.
Right? So I have to try to stay on top of it. So these are just, it's incremental. So I've got 2 weeks. So I'll spend an hour and a half today, 45 minutes tonight. Tomorrow morning, another, maybe half hour of email and then another hour on an article or video. And then just ship it and launch it and then do the next one. So it's 17 years I've been doing that.
Yeah.
Content.
That's some discipline, though. I think that's actually probably the biggest challenge, right?
Big effort.
Yeah.
It's a big effort. It's consistency. You have to go deeper into each topic. And search, I'm an SEO, so to make something that ranks, you have to sort of exceed the quality regardless of what you believe about search ranking factors and little tricks and how Google works.
There's always a demand, I guess, for making good things and
Hopefully.
quality. But it seems like that's even more in demand because it's a little more scarce with the amount of content, AI, all this stuff that's going on.
And another way to look at that is that it's easier than ever to differentiate because here we are, like production quality, engagement, topics, depth.
Yeah.
There's a flood of low quality stuff out there.
Right.
So take a strong position on something, a point of view, do some original research, collaborate in like a high quality format. I find it ironic that people are freaked out about content in the AI era because it's easier than ever to differentiate yourself from an AI.
Yeah.
AI doesn't have any friends.
It's
AI doesn't care about anything. It's just
of everything that already exists.
Exactly, Matt. It's summarizing the internet, and I can do more than just that.
Yeah. Well, I do want to talk more about AI. I guess, one topic that I did want to dig into with you, let's just talk about the digital customer experience, because it's not just websites, right? It's all of the things, all of the touch points, and how content plays into that. One of the things I want to talk to you about is that something that in your line of business is always happening, is something you're just always doing as day-to-day thing? Or is it something that you're, is that conversation has changed recently and you're having a different type of conversation? And go. That was a loaded statement.
Okay. There's a mega trend, of course, in digital where short form video has become a dominant format, and every platform is adapted to include that, chasing the attention. That big tech decided they're all in on that, and so that's on every social platform now. And I'd call most of that top of funnel content.
So yeah, social, top of funnel.
Social and top of funnel.
You're on those channels that are, X or whatever, and
super
YouTube
engaging. They're thumb stoppers.
Yeah.
They're like just and people are growing big audiences that way. What I care about much more is the bottom of funnel content, where the visitor, they're already considering you.
Right.
They're on your about page or they're on their home page, and in that moment, that person is worth 1 million times more to your brand than the scroller on TikTok or whatever platform, because they're in high consideration mode.
Right.
There's no reason they would be on your service page unless they were interested in podcasting or video production or media. So in that moment, there's lots of ways to educate them and persuade them and convince them and build trust. Of all the possible ways, video is the strongest because it's just higher production quality. You can see their face. They have a point of view, the tone of voice, the body. You just believe them more. Text is actually the worst format for content. Video is actually the best format for content because text, you kind of have to work harder at it. You kind of lean in, right? But
and specifically when we're talking about that kind of conversion stage, right? Where
conversion-focused video, where production quality matters a lot, where the visitor is in consideration mode, where you can go into depth about your values, what you believe, why this company exists, how you're different, why this thing's important, what they might miss, risk, or lose by not hiring you.
Right.
Tell your visitors that. So I think one of those is worth 1,000 times, we'll say 1,000 times more than a short-form video on social. Therefore, it's worth 1,000 times the investment.
Yeah, that's a good way to think about it.
That's how I
think about investment quality, how that aligns with the likeliness that this person's actually going to buy. Here's a really specific, practical question, but I hope it gets us into some other things: is should I embed YouTube videos onto my website?
I love YouTube. I'd call that middle of funnel content because if the social media stuff is the top of funnel and they're not even on your website, YouTube you can embed on your website in the content program, blog, resources section, and it accelerates the growth of your YouTube channel because it's pumping up the views of those videos when you have a visitor. But I would never use YouTube for the conversion-focused videos.
What?
Not a good idea.
On your website?
On your website. So
don't use YouTube on your website.
Use it in the blog.
In the blog?
Yep.
Okay.
Social media videos are on social.
Do you think of the website and the blog as this all the same thing? It's all this. I mean, it's all an ecosystem, but you kind of treat it separately.
Well, you could say these pages are designed to educate the blog. These pages are designed to persuade the service pages,
the sales pages.
Yep. Yeah. This is content. This is copy.
Yep.
This is about sharing and likes and the author picture, and this is about calls to action and social proof and trust.
Right.
There are different UX. There are different types of writing. There are different ways to post and host video. There are different goals and purposes. And for that reason, think about it. I would almost never, link from a service page to a blog post. Because that visitor would be going upwards, backwards through the funnel.
Right, like trying to get you to go down the funnel here.
You want to go down the funnel.
What are you doing climbing back up? Why am I catapulting you back up the funnel? Get down that funnel.
Get down there.
Yeah.
The home page might be the only page where I would link out to an article.
Okay.
You're trying to move them forward in the process. If you embed a YouTube video on your service page, then at the end of that YouTube video, there's going to be suggested videos, and they're going to be watching, Saturday Night Live and cat videos on your website.
Yeah.
It happens all the time.
But what if it keeps you on there for a little bit? Like, whoa, wait a second. I didn't even know that this cat video is going to pop up, and I'm just going down a cat video loop. And I'm on that site for a while.
That sounds like a social strategy, right? It's like, let's prioritize engagement over conversion.
I mean, and I think that also, obviously, if people are going to your website,
they are considering hiring you. That's why you have a visitor on that page. Let's think about the traffic source, right? They search for Chicago video production. They click, they land, pixels load. They're looking at your page. They're scanning for their answer. They're wondering who you are. They're quickly looking for some reason to believe that you're legit. So. The video helps, social proof helps, clarity, answering questions, address objections. Address objections on these pages, in the video and in the copy. Because this person, they're in a hurry, but they are actually, thinking about spending money in
Right.
that moment.
They're
They're looking for help.
They're
Yeah.
looking for some evidence here.
Now, what are their information needs? What questions must be answered? What objections must be addressed? That happens in the copy. It should be prioritized based on their most likely needs.
Right.
Hopes, dreams, fears, concerns. Now, what is our best supportive evidence to back up every claim we just made? Okay, some social proof, testimonial, case study, whatever you've got.
Right.
So the page flows through answer evidence, call to action. That's how leads are born.
Yeah.
Any message that is especially high stakes or where you have a better point of view or trust is really important, upgrade the format to video. It might be you giving an answer, or it might be the social proof converted into a video testimonial. But that's what happens. The architect lands here and they're like, is this good for me? Am I in the right place?
Yeah.
And they start scanning through and they're going to not read most of it, but they're going to find some of their answers. And when it's really important, you can present it such that they don't have to watch the video to see some of the meaning of it. You might put an excerpt from it next to that on the same page block, but in that moment, the person who watches that video is more likely to convert. Check analytics afterwards.
Yeah.
GA4 will show you people who triggered the video view event have higher conversion rates.
Right.
So now your job is to maximize views of the video by making them more interesting and compelling and custom thumbnail.
Right. Just that alone, how do we boost engagement?
Yeah.
We know that video works. I mean, are you having conversation? I mean, don't digital marketers by now know that? Like, don't they know that, like, yeah, duh, like, you don't have to sell me on video for the really important stuff?
Well, the part that I find that marketers sometimes miss is that they're making a page about architects and they start by thinking, what do I want to say?
Right.
What is our brand story?
Right.
Rather than thinking, what does this person need to hear?
Right.
Conversion is not about what you want to tell them. It's about what they came to find out. And if they don't see it, guess what? 100% of websites have a back button. They can go back to their previous source and there's a million options, right? The main reason you have a visitor is because there's a human in the world with an information need in front of a browser. Did you or did you not meet that person's information needs? Did you align with their emotions and considerations in the moment or not? Did you support your claims with evidence or not? That's really why people do and don't take action on pages.
So when you're having this conversation, so like that's a thing you're finding that like even sophisticated marketers who do this all day kind of can sometimes forget this is about them, not about you.
That's right.
It's about their information they're seeking, not about what you want to tell them. Getting into video specifically, how does that connect, I guess, to the content format? Like, why is that what they need in that case? Or are people questioning, like, should I even make video? Like, it's expensive.
Well, the video is a format. It's not a topic or a subject. So if the person's wondering, for example, they click on About. What does the person care about? Why does someone click on About? Well, they want to know who works there and what you believe. Okay. That answer, here's what we believe. This is why this company exists. Here's who works here. That answer is best handled with video format. Because it's Matt.
Because they can see and hear you.
Yeah, and you can explain your passion. Like, there was a failure of the economy that this company didn't exist. I had to start it because the most important thing that people weren't getting was this, and here we're solving this problem. Like that, you can write that, but it doesn't hit the same. Exactly.
Right. So
for certain answers, video is a more appropriate format.
Yeah. And what I'm hearing you say earlier too is like when it's really important, when it's really big, when quality matters.
Yeah, your origin story. There's like a short list. Your origin story. The founder's beliefs.
Right.
It's like things like that, like the testimonial video.
Yeah.
There are no websites with enough testimonial videos. I mean, if you could build like the Netflix of your industry where there's like a whole library of testimonial videos, you will continue to convert more and more the more you add.
Right. Going back to the website, if YouTube isn't the answer, if I shouldn't be doing YouTube for embedding into websites, I guess how should I embed into a website? Video.
A pro player of any sort.
Anything.
Yeah.
Just pay for it.
Yeah, whatever. Like, pay the $50 and get rid of the.
It's just to get rid of the cat videos.
The last thing you want your visitor to do is to leave your sales page and go to a social media network where they've spent millions of dollars optimizing the UX to keep that visitor there and fully monetized.
Right.
YouTube's an advertising-driven company.
Right.
Why would I want my visitor to go from my homepage? Why would I put a link to YouTube on my homepage? Why would I put a link to any social media network, right? Except maybe in the footer.
Yeah,
because
follow us. That's a call to action. You might want to stay engaged with people.
Yeah, the homepage is a page for which you know the least about your visitor. You have one job, and that's to answer questions, address objections, supply supportive evidence. That's the game. That's really the reason they're on the page and the reason your page exists.
Is there any practical, like, simple, basic, like 101 conversion video? Obviously, those go on your website. They focus on the most important things. But is there like a certain place you're supposed to put those?
The question is about visual hierarchy. Every web page has visual hierarchy. So where in the hierarchy should this asset appear? If it's if it's answering key questions, or it's explaining some weird thing you invented, or some cool complex workflow, or some solution that's hard to explain, yeah, embed that high up. If it's something everybody knows what it is, you've got bed bugs, we're an exterminator. You don't really need a video to explain that, right?
Right. No. Got it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I understand the concept.
Yeah, call to action. That's all you need.
Yeah. Where's the buy button now? Get him here as soon as possible. I do want to talk about AI a little bit. Let's talk about AI. What do you say to people that say AI is killing search traffic, SEO is dead?
SEO was never the point. The point was discoverability.
Okay.
It's to be found by people who need your help. And AI adds a new channel. So you can
Helps you be found?
People can use AI to find things.
Okay.
So now we have a new challenge, and it's not even named yet. I'm hearing mostly GEO, generative engine optimization. Mm-hmm. There's other terms for this. If you ask AI, it'll make up a term for this. But how to improve the chances that AI will recommend your brand.
Yeah.
So search was never the point. The point was to be discovered by people who have commercial intent and information needs. So AI becomes another channel for that. Will it disrupt Google? For sure, no doubt. Do we all need to be flexible and focus on other strategies? For sure, no doubt. For GEO, if it's called that, probably the strategy will be to just be present in many places, have a good review game, have a good directory presence, be all over, do lots of shows like this, or just say yes to guest posts for people, get on lists of providers in your category. Those things will increase the likelihood that AI recommends your brand. When people say search is dead, what they mean is that the click-through rate from Google to websites is going to go down.
Right.
But guess what? That's been happening forever. When the featured snippet appeared, where it kind of answers your question at the top, people didn't say search was dead. When the people also ask box appeared, that reduces click-through rates.
Right.
Did that mean that search was dead? When the knowledge panel appears, when the video carousel appears, when there's 4 ads instead of 3, when there's, in the news sections and people's talking about sections, like Google search results pages are packed with things other than links to your website. Click-through rates have been declining for a decade.
Right.
AI overviews, nothing new. The same thing, the exact same trend.
So it's not news.
It's not news at all.
Okay.
Click-through rates will continue to decline. They've been declining forever. They will always decline.
Yeah.
But people who have commercial intent, those search results pages are much more likely to have 10 blue links, right? Less likely they'll have ads, but they're not going to have, the video carousel and the AI overview and the people also ask. When someone's looking for a company to help them, a partner, the click-through rates are still high because, quite simply, that visitor still has visit website intent. They want to get to a website. They will scroll past that because they're trying to find you. So now what we should all be doing today, and this is not even a thing, we're kind of just like speculating what it should be called, but does that key phrase have visit website intent? If so, target that phrase, build a great page, do good SEO. But a lot of phrases, really, the click-through rates have gone to 0, and we're now in an era, some people say it's just the 0-click search era. I think that's a bit overblown, but you get the idea.
There's another conversation about AI that's a little bit bigger. People are like kind of pro AI, I guess, and the people are like against it. And on the extremes of that, you hear this term AI bros.
No.
Have you heard that term
No,
yet?
I haven't heard
That's
it.
like a thing I'm seeing now.
Oh, okay. I can imagine.
And I think that's more like the people that are just like, if you don't embrace AI tomorrow, you will spontaneously combust. What's your take on that? I mean, you definitely talk a lot about AI, how to use it. You seem to be more on the pro side. I wouldn't call you a bro. But you're my bro. What are your thoughts on that?
Similar to my perspective on AI being just the next thing and declining click-through rates from search, AI is a tool.
Yeah.
There's been lots of tools over the years. This tool is, of course, very different.
Yeah.
But when a tool comes out, we just need to ask ourselves, like, what are the best use cases for this? How can this help me do my job? How can I push performance for better lead gen or visibility or brand using this tool? That, I think, is the best perspective. I don't think we need to be advocates for it or detractors against it. Just look at the tool set in front of you. And yes, it happens to be super low cost and extremely accessible and ridiculously versatile.
Yeah.
So let's consider ways to use this tool. So that's been my content strategy. I just got back from an event where Google and the Marketing AI Institute have put together this Marketing AI Industry Council. And so I'm part of this group now, and it's with like a bunch of senior leaders from across creative spaces, world agencies, brands, and the predictions are very dramatic. There are people who are estimating that as many as 30% of marketing jobs won't be here in 5 years.
Wow, that's a huge number. Is that like marketing, like traditional marketing, like anything like in CMO down to marketing manager down to agencies?
All across, yep. There other people are predicting that the CMO will start to go away, and you'll have just chief revenue officers who are as focused on sales as marketing.
Which that conversation I feel like is happening AI regardless of AI.
Yep,
I mean,
a lot
if
of
you
these
look
trends.
at like how does a company like Amazon do marketing, or how do these companies focus those efforts? It's not in traditional advertising.
Yeah. There's a prediction that the wildly creative, visionary ideas will have even greater value in the future. So that's, do something big, do something weird, like
something
make
original,
a splash. Yeah, something totally original. But what I think is most likely of all the things I've heard is that in the future, 2 years, 5 years, whenever, the worker, marketing or whatever, will be partly overseeing or working together with a small team of AI agents that are specially trained at certain tasks, and that makes them much, much more valuable and productive. The work product quality goes up, and the speed at which it's done goes up. So if you had like, a team of a bunch of people before, maybe it's a smaller team, but there's a bunch of agents that they're overseeing and working with. The agents can even be working with each other. So this is a weird point of view, but I'll share it now.
Let's get weird.
Yeah, I feel a bit squeamish about this, but it's partly the people who are best positioned to remain relevant and productive and employed in the future era are the people who are sort of working now to learn the things that begin to replace them. They're sort of embracing, they're leaning in to the tools that look like they would be a threat to their own job. It's ironic.
Yeah.
The people who are leaning into the tools that would apparently be threatening to their employment are the ones who are best positioned to, they're the ones who are building the agents and training the rest of their team and creating models that the rest of the company is getting value from. Those are the people that we're all gonna, that will have huge value in the future. So it's a strange moment.
Yeah, and I think it's hard too, because there's people I care about, like, we are those people, we are those creative people that do this work that maybe that technology could be threatening how we do it today. We employ those people, we hire those people. I mean, this is a conversation I really care about because there is real concern, and I don't think it's part of it is like, well, I'm going to get left behind. That is definitely a big part of it. The other part of it is this sort of you can't. There's something that needs to be managed in terms of the exploiting of original work and that sort of a thing. And how do you even do you participate in that? Do you sort of avoid that because I'm not going to even go there? And I don't know that there is a clean answer to that part of the conversation.
Yeah, it's the desire to protect the intellectual property is really like an anti-marketing emotion, because a minute ago I said that the best chance of being recommended by AI is to make sure that your content and your brand is everywhere. So I have the opposite feeling of the people who want to protect the intellectual property and their copy. I'm trying to train the AI with everything I can possibly make that's relevant to my company, so that AI is more likely to recommend me when people look for when people ask the AI for a provider. So the people who want to hoard their content or keep it protected or hold it back are less likely to get recommended. Again, it's the people who are embracing the danger and the threat are more likely to be discovered in AI search, or more likely to stay relevant on their team, or more likely to the brands and companies that lean in and adopt the tools and set up processes and run through their standard operating procedures and find where they can build an agent that'll make us make that deliverable a little higher quality. Those are the brands that are more likely to have longevity, I guess. So it's like run toward the fire is kind of what it looks like.
Right, exactly. Yeah. It's everything is so, and also there's this idea that everything's going to change overnight. All of a sudden, every CMO is going to know how to use AI perfectly and be able to replace everybody's job.
Yeah, I don't think that's...
I think this is gonna take a lot of time to sift through, and there is, I'm with you. Like, you do want to sort of dabble a little bit. You need to do something to just kind of learn what's going on. Whether you end up using that tool to create something amazing, or you decide not to because you have a better way to do it.
Yeah, I mean, I feel less stressed out if I spend a little bit of time every day experimenting with AI, because I just feel like personally I'm a bit better positioned than I would have been yesterday.
Yeah.
So even if it's just to comfort yourself, goof around, try different things, make a custom GPT, like do upload some weird images and see what you can get it to do, or iterate on your prompts, or teach it to write better prompts for you. When you do those things, then you actually are, I think, more secure and just more calm.
Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah, that's helpful. Yeah, the anxiety thing. All right, last question. Is there anything that you're doing right now in the work office or outside of that you're just like really pumped about? You're just like, I'm digging this. I'm looking forward to this. I can't wait to do this. Get back to that.
I am really enjoying hanging out with people in person like this, Matt. Thank you.
Sweet.
This is great. I think the
fulfill
one-to-one human, squishy human body interaction, that's great. This is great. I like live events. I like going to conferences, seeing old friends. I like creating like a little mastermind group of like-minded people and then making sure we meet once in a while. I like seeing you at that bar. I like seeing you at this other one over here. So high touch, one-to-one, the chaos of interpersonal interaction, I think super bullish on that. And that's where I'm getting a lot of my...
so you're getting your life? Your life juice?
My life juice comes from there.
Thanks, Andy. Thanks for being here.
It's a pleasure.
El Final.